All right, guys. Hey, welcome to episode 60 of the Drag Driver Pete Show presented by Summit Racing. Another great show planned for today. We'll talk to Dave Curtis and Nadine of the Central Victorian Dragon Drive. That's right, that happened the same weekend of the circuit, and we're going to do a recap on the circuit. But first, we've got some good content to cover. We got upcoming events and a little more stuff behind the scenes. So, Eric, hit the intro video and let's get this thing kicked off, dude.
All right, let's do it.
We're gonna pack things up and hit the road, try to make it the next day.
All right, guys, like I said, welcome to episode 60 of the Drag Driver Pete Show presented by Summit Racing. My name is Mike Narks. I am the host of this lovely show that you are watching here and the Drag Driver Pete News, which happens on Saturday mornings on our YouTube and Facebook channels. But I'm also a host of the Circuit Dragon Drive, which happened this last weekend. Mr. Eric White, my co pilot, RHM, my right hand man. Introduce yourself. Tell them what you got going on, dude.
I'm Eric White, the co-host of both the news and the show. Like Mike said, helped out with the circuit, and I think maybe I can call myself like a rookie photographer now.
I don't know. I would say semi-professional. I mean, dude, you're a professional. You were paid. Like that's
That's
kind of how that works. That's
There we
how that
go.
works. Well, we're going to talk about the circuit and your adventures that were down there because you have some really fun ones. And we're going to talk about how many pictures you took and how many pictures all of the social media or all the media teams that were there took. We're going to talk about that here in just a minute. But guys, we got to start off. We got to thank you guys and girls that are out there. Thank you so much for being our race car friends. Last weekend was absolutely insane to have that many people support us from home and definitely support us on site. I mean, we're going to talk about how much money we raised here in just a little bit, and we can't do that without all of our sponsors helping cover some of these costs for this stuff. Got Summit Racing, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Car Chains 3D, Howard's Cams, Performer Built Transmissions, Sweet Patina, and Racing Junk Classifieds all help us get to all these events and cover all this stuff. And then also our newest media partner, PowerTube TV, helping us get the word out on how awesome Dragon Drive is. All right. Well, guys, I don't know if you know this or not, but Summit Racing Speed Legacy began in 1968 as a one-man startup and is now the world's speed shop. 4 facilities, 200 plus catalog editions, fueling your passion. They save you money, deliver fast, and offer top-notch customer service for more than 1,500 brands. In 2014, they launched the Summit Racing mobile app for easy access to speed parts. Find Summit Racing on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. You can also find You can find them on the On All Cylinders podcast, which I listened to quite a bit of that stuff while I was driving the more than 300 miles this past weekend. If you like automotive discussions, this one is a good one that you're listening to right now. And the On All Cylinders podcast is a great one as well. From humble origins to the social media lane, Summit Racing stands by your need for speed.
Yeah,
All right.
man. Look who we got in here.
Tulsa Madman. I'm telling you, Cliff, we want you on the show in the next couple weeks. You are one of our guests that we are going to be reaching out to. We would love to have you on. Tulsa Madman Cliff Parvin was our announcer for the weekend and did an amazing job. We're going to talk about how much that helps relieve stress on my end by having a really good announcer and taking care of me on that side of stuff. So
And
keep it up, dude. Thank you very much.
yeah, and this woman right here, she
That's
she
right.
did some work.
Oh man, my lovely wife Melissa, I love you, honey. You are so amazing. She says she's still tired from the weekend. I am too. It's been a struggle. I've been trying to go to bed early, but that is not what's happening. Tim Gorley here, man. Go Fast Productions, my boy, and you're going to be able to tell some fun stories for him as well. Well, let's jump into some event updates because we got a packed show tonight to keep this under 2 hours.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
do you want to read the driven ad read, and then we'll jump into some of the events that are coming up?
Yep, absolutely. Why gamble with performance or protection when you get proven results from Driven Racing Oil? Trusted by top engine builders, winning racers, and devoted horsepower enthusiasts around the world. Driven takes legendary base oils such as the ones from Bradford, Pennsylvania, which comprise their GP1 line. Then Driven boosts that superior base with state of the art additive packages. Driven's GP1 Nitro 70 not only provides anti wear protection, but can even shield cylinders from washout and fuel dilution caused by using methanol or nitro based fuels. Learn more about Driven Racing Oil by following them on Facebook and Instagram at Driven Racing Oil or shop now at drivenracingoil.com.
That's right. Well, dude, got some sad news. This is I'm gonna put breaking news in here. This is kind of sad because King of the Open Road is sadly postponed for this weekend. So it's very sad to make that announcement. And there are events all over the I would say South and Midwest that are canceled because of some stupid storm. So we got really lucky with the circuit and had beautiful weather, but it came at a price. All the events that were going to happen this weekend have been canceled except for our boys at Cruise and Lose. They're northern enough that they can still have their event. So if you haven't left yet for Cruise and Lose at I-29 Dragway in Nebraska, you need to get on the road. Okay. You need to get out there, get ready for that event. They race Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Going to be an amazing time. And the weekend right after the circuit, I know there's got to be some circuit racers that are trying to get up there and make it a double header. Listen, do that for me, please. Support that event. They are amazing. They've sold out, but as you know, in Drag and Drive, I don't know if anybody would turn anyone away on the day of the event. If you're
Right.
show up and make the trip, we're going to let you make the trip down the track and all that kind of stuff. So that's sad for that news. Sad for King of the Open Road. They are postponed until August. Cruise and Lose again, still on. And another event that we haven't talked about is Texas Cruise and Chill. And I apologize about that. I think we mentioned it a couple months ago, but haven't talked about it since. And that's my fault. I'm adding it to the schedule tonight after this episode because I've also got to update all the new dates for the other events that are being postponed and moved around. So Texas Cruise and Chill going to be at Texas Motorplex and another track down there, but I can't. Extreme Raceway Park, so XRP. This should be a really good one. This is put on by a longtime drag and drive racers and is being highly helped out with by Steve McDermott Jr., who is a longtime Rocky Mountain Race Week driver. This is going to be a fun event, and especially with King of the Open Road being postponed till August, this is a great way for you to get in. This event is going to take place May 4th and 5th, and if you'd like to jump on that, you can find Texas Cruise and Chill on Facebook. Probably the easiest way to find it there. And then Drop the Hammer is at the end is in 1 month, going to be May 31st through June 2nd in Michigan. I think they start at 131 on that one. Man, my brain is fried from the circuit. I can't anymore. Um, May 31st through June 2nd in Michigan, and then on the other side of the country in Washington, you got the Olympic Drag and Drive May 31st through June 2nd. So again, another weekend in the states with two Drag and Drive regional Drag and Drive events taking place at the same time. Kind of exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one. And then we move on to Six Summer, which Eric is, we've talked about this several times. Eric is going to be there Monday and Friday. And then my plan is to drive up on Thursday of that week and hit the racetrack Thursday and then cruise with you guys into Friday and then, hang out with Eric and all that kind of fun stuff. So that's June 9th through 14th at the tracks that are shown on the screen here: Tri State Raceway, Cordova, Byron, and Great Lakes Dragway, which is the route or the tracks we hit last year. And I can't wait to see the different route this year. So I think we are going to be a little bit further of a drive this year. I think it was like just right at 600 last year. So we're going to be a little bit further because we have the Rock Falls, Illinois.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yep. They're throwing a big city bash, big party for everybody that comes by. So that's really exciting. And that same week you have Alaska Speed Week, June 9th through 15th, obviously in Alaska at Alaska Speedway. And they're going to race there and then drive, I think it's a day and a half to an airport like they did last time, and then turn around and drive home. So on Saturday, we're going to dive into like the next 10 events and what is coming up, where to be, what to look for, track count, where they're, what tracks people are going to be racing and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to go over that on Saturday morning on the Drag Drive Repeat News. All right, dude.
So we got two events, two groupings of events with two races going on the same weekends. That's kind of wild.
Yes, bring it on. I'm ready. I'm ready, because it's been pretty intense, man. We came off of April being the absolute busiest month for drag and drive events in all of 2024 that we've seen on the schedule so far, even. Like, I'm sure there's going to be some stuff come up, but coming off of April and all the coverage we provided there, and then now going into a little bit of a break into May will let me kind of breathe and let you breathe, kind of take a break for a second from just hardcore coverage and let you get through some of those photos that we're going to talk about here in a minute. And then we can go from there and right back into June. So June is going to be different. It's going to be actually the busiest month with more race days than ever
Hmm.
before because there's so many week-long events during June. So it's
Yeah.
going to be crazy. Yeah, absolutely intense. All right, well, let's jump into our co-pilot spotlight. If you're okay, I'll read this ad read.
Yep.
All right. Attention high performance enthusiasts and sportsman class racers. Meet the Molly Motorsport Power Pack Kit, your ultimate solution for Power Pack performance. The Power Pack pistons are made from either 4032 aluminum alloy to allow for tighter cylinder to wall clearances and improved temperature stability, or 2618 alloy to allow for increased detonation resistance. Tailored for various engine families from small block Chevrolet to Volkswagen and Audi, we've got you covered. What sets Molly apart? Forged pistons, graphite coating, and a phosphate treatment for peak performance and durability. Elevate your ride with Molly Motorsport, where performance meets precision. Unleash the power within. Visit mollymotorsport.com for more details. For the podcast listeners, Molly Motorsports. Molly is spelled Mahle. And I want to give a big shout out to Adam, who came all the way from North Carolina to be with us at the circuit and hang out all weekend. I think he had a blast, but I'm gonna send him an email and ask and make sure. But I'm telling you, that dude had folks around his table all weekend long, and I don't know how many of the little Berts he gave out. Those little Molly Berts. Yes, that's right. I got one over here on the table somewhere. So it was pretty fun to have him there and really get his insight on what he saw from around the way and all that. So let's talk about our co-pilot spotlight, because that's one thing that we love to feature and love to talk about, and it's actually something I collect on the circuit as part of your entry, is who your co-pilot is, because co-pilots, in my opinion, are one of the most important aspects of a drag and drive team. They can make things happen. And Mr. Jack Brooks here, you know this Nova, dude. If you've ever been up close to this, I know you've been up close to it. This thing is, like, to me, this is perfection right here.
Yeah.
It's a
It's
little
just the right
crusty,
amount.
rusty. Yeah,
Yep.
it's just a little rough on the outside, but inside, absolutely gorgeous. Take the hood off, it's perfect. I mean, paint is perfect. Everything is perfect. Well, Jack Brooks submitted his co-pilot spotlight about Sean Bryson, his co-pilot for this last year. When asked what makes a good co-pilot, he said, "My co-pilot is a past street and drag racer with many years of experience behind the wheel. That's always good. He's knowledgeable on EFI tuning, and he enjoys the adventures involved in drag and drives. I couldn't do this without him." So, of course, we have to always ask, tell us a story about how your co-pilot saved the day. He said Sean saved the day multiple times, from chasing down a broken ground strap that kept us from making full passes to late night 1:30 a.m. parking lot fuel cable fixes. Dude, happens all the time. And
Yeah.
then it said, tell us a story about how your co-pilot ruined the day. And he said, doesn't exist. Two exclamation points, not one time. That's what I'm talking about. So please, I'm going to post a link in the chat, and then you'll be able to pull it in the description of the podcast later. But guys, please tell us about your co-pilot. We want to know. That's it truly is one of the best ways to make an event that much more fun, right? So I want to say thanks to Molly for letting us do that. That's an awesome way to say thanks to those guys.
Absolutely. We
All
got to
right,
have a lot of stories coming out of the circuit, I'd think, right?
dude. There were so many co-pilots, so many co-pilots. was great. All right. Well, I'm gonna let you thank our folks this time while I get me a drink real quick.
All right. So as always, we got to thank our race car friends. You guys out there watching, everybody that came to the circuit, everybody commenting right now. Thanks to you guys. Again, you guys keep us going, doing what we love to do. And of course, thanks to our sponsors, Summit Racing, Driven Racing Oil, Molly Motorsports, Car Chains 3D, which we got to see at the circuit, Howard's Cams, Performabuilt Transmission, Sweet Patina, Racing Junk, and our newest media partner, PowerTube TV.
That's right. That's right. Well, I think we need to get into the gentleman's agreement because it's early and we didn't prepare Dave and Nadine. We said 30 to 40 minutes to get through that stuff, but I got so excited about talking about that to get to them. So, guys, the gentleman's agreement is simply this. We love what we do. We love working hard for you guys, bringing out all the stats and stories and things like that from the Drag and Drive community, but it's not free and it takes a ton of time and a ton of money to do all this stuff. So the gentleman's agreement is we will continue to do this on our side, but we need you guys to follow or subscribe on your side. Help us grow. If you're listening to this on the podcast, please leave us a review. That helps us get into the algorithms, quote unquote, of the podcast life. So, guys, that's our gentleman's agreement. Please do your side. We'll continue to do our side. We've worked tirelessly for the last 12 days trying to make sure everything is good to go. Now, a couple things. Let's talk about Central Victorian Drag and Drive. One of the funnest parts about being a promoter on the side is now that we have so many of these, I hope that we're going to begin to see some trash talking competition between the events. It's
Yeah.
always been, as promoters, we've always been come to mind. I'm not going to say we don't care about other events, but I mean, there's no one that's going to be at the Central Victorian Drag and Drive that's going to ship their car to the Circuit Drag and Drive
Yeah.
because it's on the other side of the planet. Like literally, this right here behind me and right up here. That's where those two are. Okay. This team works diligently, very, very hard all the time. Dave works, I would probably say, harder than we do on making sure his event is great, making sure that the racers have a good time. So we have them on tonight to talk about all of that and kind of how that came about, one, and then how like what this last event was, and then of course we had to throw a little competition between them. So we had to look at some. They have a 650 index. We also have a 650 index. So we're going to compare some notes and see, is America faster or is Australia faster to 650? So let's bring them on. Dave and Nadine. Nadine is the daughter, of course. She's helping. I can't imagine with all the stuff that you get roped into. But guys, I want you to introduce yourself and kind of tell a little bit of history about the Central Victorian Drag and Drive.
Yeah, look, without my daughter giving me a hand doing this, and our followers and our people that have done other drag and drives and just said, look, that basically we couldn't, we had to tailor to an event that was more capable for more wider audience. So we thought, well, we'll put a bit of a lid on it, and with competitor entries and the speed and the ET that basically we're bringing in, and then that sort of brings it in with the authorities and so forth, that makes it so much more inviting and welcoming to a wider audience. So it is a lot of work, and look, our authorities on the roads and racing and so forth here seems to be a lot tighter than America in a lot of ways. So
yeah,
trailer burnouts and road burnouts are a bit of a no-no. So.
That's what I was going to ask. Now, we did have somebody get in trouble and actually get a ticket this weekend at the circuit. They were doing a burnout, and man, this police officer blocked the intersection, blocked them in, got their driver's license, told them to pull over to the parking lot, and then
definitely can't do it here. No.
The tow-away zone if we do that. So it's
wow.
It's not. So it's sort of, as I said, we've got some really, really good people that come along and support us, and some can come this time and some can come next time, and the economic climate sort of tells us that sometimes it's going to be a little bit thin on the ground, and it's got to fit in with other events that people do regularly, and some are national races, and some are just unlike no different to us. We just
Right.
do this for the love of
Well, and the one thing that's great about regional stuff is we don't have to have that crazy high entry number to make it make sense. If you
No,
have to cover
no.
5 days of a national level track, I mean, you could be in trouble.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you don't get the number you need.
The costs are up there, and
Yep.
look, for us, we started at, I think we had 40 something numbers on, and I think we end up with 28 and a few dual driver entries. That
That's awesome.
jumped in the car, and it was a bit of a rent a car there at one stage where had multiple
Yeah.
drivers in one car. So that's, and passenger passes and so forth, and
Mhm.
look, it's about sharing a bit of love around, and
Yep.
and I'm not selfish doing this, so anyone wants to have a drive in my car, there's the keys. I don't care.
Oh.
It's not.
Another reason I need to come over there.
That's it. Exactly. The keys are in the ignition. You just got to be
That's
able to
awesome.
drive a right-hand drive car. That's all.
I don't know if I could stick shift with my left hand.
Oh, you'll be right.
As long as it's auto, I'd be fine, I think.
Yeah, it's only power unit, so it's fine.
Right. Well, tell us a little bit about like where you guys went, what the scenery is like there, and then of course they can follow you on Facebook and see all the pictures. But were there other media teams there and things like that?
No, well, look, it being in Mildura, which is the top of northern Victoria, northwest Victoria. It is really in the corner of the state. So we have people that actually drive 7.5 hours just to get there, So
That's awesome.
wives, kids, and so forth. So we're trying to make it as family friendly as we possibly can. And look, we just say to people, however you get it to there, we're starting at Mildura. Being lack of tracks and costings of the facilities, and this time of the year is we're nearly coming into winter here. So
Wow.
We're only a few weeks away from winter. So, with our dividing range that comes through the middle of Victoria, if you come down lower than the range,
It's
then
wet.
it's 5 to 8 degrees cooler than what it is back in the northern part of it. So,
Okay.
this is where we've had to tailor it to there. So, yes, we did run it 3 days there. The Sunset Strip at Mildura, the guys and girls there that run that are just fantastic. And Mildura itself has got plenty of food, fuel, and accommodation, and very welcoming. Very, what we would say, we'll go back there again. We're looking at going there again in November. The drive we did, as I said, people, until we work out how to teleport to get there, we've got to drive there anyway. So, so we've done a drive on the Friday afternoon out and around Mildura, where, it was a bit of a course where it was a bit of an observation course and so forth. And it was about an hour and a half, 2 hours sort of thing. But it allowed people to see a little bit of Mildura that they don't normally see. They come and race and go, that's it, they're gone at night sort of thing. So it was good just to have people, trotting around town in their cars and seeing a few of the sites. And then we end up back near we teed it up with the local hotel on the main street, which is a very, very busy 4-lane highway that basically runs from Adelaide to Sydney. And there's an acre block of land right next to the hotel. So we did a car show from like 3:30 until about 7. And
That's awesome.
People filtered into the pub for tea, so it worked in good. And then one of the local guys there runs a bit of a cruise club, bit of a show shine of a Friday night at the local auto bar about 8 o'clock. So we fitted in with them as well.
Yeah.
So
So when you say they snuck in the pub for tea, is that code for some beers?
Oh yeah, there was a few beers, but look, the thing is, you just got to be aware that we're not promoting drink driving, but it working with the hotel they just said we'll book this part out for you guys, and you having your car show, and there'll be people in and out, so filter 20, 30 people at a time in and out, and everyone will get a feed, and they said the kitchen will close at 9 o'clock, so You're welcome to keep ordering up until then. So, but as I said, it works. With to align planets. It is a bit of work with it, but behind the scenes, it's good.
There's a lot of people who bring a co-pilot that they've had like 35 years, like George, and he has Sin, who he's had right through from the start, and he's there every time that he races, and so they've always got someone there if they do have a beer or, changes tires for him, sets his car up at the start line, things like that, and a couple of drivers have said, if someone actually wants to have a go at racing, that's okay. As long as you've got a license, you're all signed up, have a go at racing. Myself this time, I raced for the first time. It's not like everyone else can have fun. Well, it's my turn too. So I jumped behind the wheel. It's chill enough that the first time I can have a go. Someone with not the fastest car can have a go, and there's no pressure about swinging it. I've got the best car. It's very approachable. It's family friendly. It is good. I'm enjoying being a part of it. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, let's talk about the schedule that you guys run. So, there's a lot of events here in the States that do morning racing. We actually did 11 to 5, which I thought worked really well for our short drives. And then like Rocky Mountain Race Week races at night. What's the schedule like for your event?
Well, Thursday, we tried to be accommodating with people where they said, look, having a Thursday, Friday, Saturday event, how about we start at 2 p.m. on the Thursday? That meant that people could travel there. Some had left Wednesday night and they'd got halfway, like people who traveled 7.5 hours or better, and they got halfway, and then we left Ballarat here and travelled 2 hours and met them on the main highway.
That's
so
great.
There was like a dozen cars sort of cruising up from there. So it's only 3 hours from there to Mildura. So it was really good. We picked up a few along the way, and it was. It just works, when we were there by midday at the most, and we set up and basically did our driver's brief and checked out the track, because we look after everything from the front of the staging lanes backwards, and Mildura guys look after everything from the burnout box forward. So we don't worry about we dry hire the track as such, and they bring the fire and the ambulance and their track crew. So
that's one thing that we're looking at doing is we'll get them to the lanes, and then the track will get them in the lanes. Like they'll get them in the burnout box. And I think that moving forward, I think that will help us as far as because the way our track was set up, it had like 4 lanes over here, then 2 lanes right here, and then there were another 2 lanes over here. And so everybody was trying to get to the shortest lane, but it meant there was just this circle of always who's going where.
We just organise. We have Adam in our staging lanes, and Amanda works for the track itself. So she's there as a volunteer. So she works on the headphones to the guys on the start line. So she's the liaison from our guy Adam in the staging lanes that keeps them lined up. So it just works. I don't get in there. It's just, as I said, we bring our own insurance and licensing to the track, and it makes it easy for them. Then there's no paperwork for those guys. We handle all of that part of it and try and make it easier for them and the races, and have that sort of laid out and go, you're ready to go. So, look, we just try and simplify it. There's no way I'm saying that we're dumbing it down, because we're not. We're just taking the hit on.
And it's still a lot of work. Like, don't get me wrong, behind the scenes, like paperwork. I've never seen so much paperwork in my life.
Well, let me give you a rundown of our side. The computer that we typically use to input time slips, I was using to live feed. So my wife was having to manually write down ET slips, and then we were having to type them in later. Like,
no,
do not recommend that. Do not recommend that.
Well, see,
it was brutal.
Mildura actually, if we ask them to, they actually print out a full list of every run from start to finish.
Yeah, but then you're doing the work on your side, and that doesn't make any sense. You want the racer to give you that time that they want to.
we've got the time slips. You know,
Yeah.
they give us the time slip that we ask them for. You know, like at the end of the first day, because the first day we just called it test and tuning day.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So we'll put, when they come in, and they present themselves to race for the first day, they'll have a window banner and a car number, and roughly which bracket do you want to be in at the start. So then we'll put a shoe text on the window. So then we'll keep them moving in formation. So 650, 70, 750, 850, dial your own brackets, and then everyone gets 3 passes each, time permitting.
They get a few more.
They get a few more. If someone wants to do passenger passes, we do a passenger in there with a solo pass. And, there might be some grudgies, and that gives people a little bit of cool down, a little bit of, just go to the toilet, have a drink, have something to eat, chat to the others that are around the pitch, and just casually check over their car and make sure things are right. We're not forcing people to have 10 passes each day,
Right.
But some just do a pass and then they'll sit it out, and then, an hour and a half later, they'll come back and have another pass.
So you have your set up like a class call, like you'll call.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're a spectator on the hill, or last time I checked, there's only 2 people on the track. So everyone else, racers, spectators, we're all spectators. So if you can stand back and follow and go, 650 brackets out, I'm in the 850. So that gives me 10 minutes or 15 minutes to go and have, prepare myself and make sure everything's in the car and things. So that's what it's about. So it's clarification and transparency for those that.
Yeah, we did no class calls, and I don't think we'll do that anymore. It was it's too hard to keep up with because everybody wants to make a pass all day. We had a lady named Casey Farrell. She made 10 passes on Friday and Saturday both. Something like burning up. Nico Christoferi made 27 passes on Saturday.
That's all right. We had a couple there. One guy did 31, and another one did 35. So,
jeez, that's awesome.
He wanted his time, and he got it.
Yeah. That was a brand new engine. Only last week he put in. So
it ain't brand new no more.
No,
it's got a season worth of passes on it. Well, let's stay on the schedule for a second. So, what times did you race Friday, and then what times did you race Saturday?
So Friday we started a little bit later, but it was still morning. So we started them out at about 10 o'clock in the morning.
Nice.
And then raced them out until the 1:30 time frame, because we had that car trial. So, where the guys went out and drove around and found sort of things that they were looking around Mildura for, and that went for about an hour or so, or whatever it ended up being, didn't it?
Hour and a half.
Yeah, we rolled into the pub, and that was good. We were sort of the last ones. I drove. Dad had a few cans, so I drove to the end. And that was good. Then we had the car show and shine. And then Saturday, what time did we start Saturday? It was still early, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was about 10.
It was about 10 as well. So they weren't super early starts, but they were definitely earlier than the Thursday. Yeah.
Because we're at the same track, and, it just gives everyone a little bit of breathing space in the morning, and us and, the cooler mornings, for them to do a little bit of track prep, because there was a little bit of moisture on the Friday morning, a little bit late start. So
see, we fill those with breakfast. Big breakfast all
We
weekend.
did have good breakfast though. We smashed out a really good breakfast before we went out on Saturday morning, because we were just like eyes hanging out the head. Like we're like, if we're gonna pull this day, we're done. Like it was good.
Because Saturday's a big day. So we run Saturday from 10 till about 1:30 thereabouts, and then we call it there for about half an hour and say, look, now it's the last 3 days culminating there, right? And then we do a shootout in the afternoon after that. So everyone comes in with a car number, their car number and a fixed dial-in.
Yeah.
So your dial-in, you cannot change. So it's just a straight knockout. So everyone wants that.
So the racers set their dial in, or their averages?
Yeah.
No,
They
the
said
racers set their dial in. So we just take that, take it up, give it to the tower, they enter it, and they just put it in as a staggered tree. So whoever lines up with whoever,
Yep.
it doesn't matter. It's still die on. So it's just a straight knockout from there. So if you're out, you're out. Go and park it up. If you're in, go and pull it back into the lanes, because we only had 16, 17, 18 cars or something that went in it. So, it doesn't take long to run them around. So, 20 minutes, half an hour, you sort of had it done. And then by the time you run some passenger passes and some grudgies, and some people who still wanted to run a decent, want to go out there and open the wings up a little bit and, down to a 6.0 sort of thing. And, we just let them go, because we do have a permit for like 125 mile an hour on the 8th.
Gotcha.
So that gives us a bit of a safety window from, say 580 to a 650. So
that's pretty interesting, because our insurance stuff didn't ask for like how fast people would be going.
Yeah.
They were just like, you're drag racing, here you go.
Yeah. The world is different over here.
Yeah,
it's a little bit different here.
Yeah.
That's
But,
crazy. Look, on the whole, as I said, there's a few things we're going to, just to be politically correct, I suppose. And look, I think our competitors and our participants and our, people that come and enter with us, I think they appreciate, our event for what it is and how we run. I'd like to say it's probably a tight ship, but it's, it's firm, fair, and friendly, I suppose. And
I like that, firm, fair, and friendly. That's
that's
a good way to put
it. But you only need a couple of bad eggs or one bad egg even to bring your event down. And look, it tars everything with the one brush then. And look, we don't have a lot of events here, and we don't have a lot of tracks, so we just got to be careful, that one bit of bad, rap goes, speaks volumes for across the board.
It could certainly create struggles for you guys, because as small as your community is, it could be very tough if you have a hard one. Well, I know Eric was wanting to ask about some route stops and things like that.
Yeah, what did you guys do for route stops each day?
Yeah, so we didn't get to drive between tracks, obviously, but our big drive was obviously on the Friday afternoon when we did do like the car trial run. Like Dad said, a lot of our competitors, like our entrants, did have to drive a fair distance to get to Mildura, because there's just no tracks in Victoria that are open this time of year or are currently running. It's
or in our dollar type.
That's the other thing. We are a small entity, so funds are pretty small for us. So getting access to somewhere is very, very difficult. Our drive was essentially on the Friday afternoon. So people were out for an hour and a half, did a fair few Ks on that, or driving to and from was the Thursday or the Wednesday afternoon, coming up to Mildura and then driving back home on Sunday. Like, we didn't push them to do anything too crazy. The next one, we've certainly planned out that they will have to put a bit of effort in. That was our feedback for sure.
And plus in Mildura, seeing as it's so far away from everything, and you've got to go through the desert to get there basically. Look, we've just said to people, you can't, there's no E85 on the pump up there at the moment, and there's a tank going in at the moment, and look, that's going to open the possibilities up for a lot more people in the area, but also travelling there, that they don't have to take so much fuel. And see, our laws here, you can't take any more than 200 litres of fuel without a special permit, right?
We speak in gallons. What does that mean in gallons? That's like
44
gallons.
44 gallon. Right?
Oh, that's a bunch,
Yeah. So when you're traveling a distance and you can't actually buy it commercially, then it's only if someone's got it stashed away that that they might have a spare 44 lying around, that I'll see a few gallons here and there, sort of thing. So we have one competitor here from Ballarat. He runs his Track Hawk. Just basically, it's an E85 car. He can run it on flex, but as he said, it takes so many tanks of fuel for it to get back to where it needs to be, and it's tuned for. Then something with 960 all wheel,
Yeah.
you want to be running that on an inferior fuel. Like we have the shittiest fuel.
You're going to ruin it.
Yeah, you're going to ruin it real quick. But, you know, the likes of my car, I can just tip in, 98 fuel here, which is probably your lowest grade fuel over there.
What you say, 98? You mean 89?
Yeah, ours is 98, but it's a different
It's
rating.
a different rating. It's
Okay,
not
I'm like, wait, hold on a minute.
What's your lowest grade of fuel there?
So we have 87 at the pump at most pumps, and then
that would be it.
That would be
okay.
it.
Okay. Well, that's mean of them to put that at 98.
Yeah, it's mean
I got all excited. I'm like,
really is. It's just not. It's not pretty. So
it's race car stuff. No wonder it's so expensive.
Yeah. So that's opening up a different window now where they're going to have E85 on tap up there. So a lot of people will take enough fuel to get there and then use there and then fill up to get home, and have it up their sleeve. So instead of carrying,
Yeah, the E85 question is one that every promoter has to. We have to, but dadgum, like y'all are the ones running E. Like you figure it out. I don't know, but I figured it out for my guys. But there's several E85 stations here, obviously in the Midwest of where we're at. So,
and look, most of those, most cars that suck a E85 is probably only going to get, 2.5 miles to the gallon. That would be probably.
No. Like with some of the tune stuff, I would say these guys, like with a big turbo car, an NA motor, that motor's only making like 400 probably. So some of these guys pulling a little trailers getting 10 or 12.
Oh yeah.
Miles per gallon. Now I don't know miles per liter. I don't know. That math doesn't exist right here. Yeah, listen, when I come over there and I'm driving your car, you just tell me when we need fuel.
You're welcome anytime. Yeah.
That's awesome.
But
I heard you guys say you did I catch a hint of like they were searching around or something, like you were doing some scavenger hunt type thing? On
the photo, it was it was a bit of had to look for some weird and wonderful stuff on the sides of the roads and signs and objects and it was good and the guy that set it up for us is actually our commentator and he actually goes over to Dragway 42 and does commentating over there. So he actually gets an invite to go over there, and he has a lot of contacts, I say, over there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so he can talk under 10-foot of wet concrete.
He's good.
Yeah, that's the way those announcer guys can. They can talk in circles, and you're enjoying all of it. Aaron Robertson here asking, did someone say scavenger hunt? So with ours, we gave him a checklist and everything was worth points. And Aaron Roberts and Danny Odom, both teams scored the exact same points. The same I did. It was like, oh crap. So they split the money. But
I
love that kind of stuff. I really do. And Eric knows I do, because I spent hours and hours and hours looking at what people should do and all the scores and that it should be and things like that, just because I feel like it gives the co-pilot and the driver something extra to do while they're driving.
It made it interesting. Like I was driving the race car and like I couldn't focus on anything else. I'm like trying to remember what I'm doing with it, and Dad's like sinking cans. I'm like, no, I think we were meant to see something at this point. He's like, yeah, it's all good. I'm like, no, Dad, seriously, like I think we were meant to look at something. He's like,
we're the ones putting on the event. We can't win this.
No, we can't be winning this. So.
That's awesome.
More cans.
Right.
No, look, it was more about just getting people out and having a bit of a drive around, and it was just a bit of a diversion, really. But the next one, we're going to do a poker run as such, so that'll be a little bit more, where not just the co-pilot gets a card. It could be 5 people in a car, so they could be all entered in it too. Yeah. So it's more about the participation of getting, see how many you can get in the station wagon. And,
I see you thinking. Stop.
Yeah, I really like that everybody in the car gets a card, and then you can shuffle those cards, make the best hand.
And look, it doesn't matter
Ooh.
who's in whose car. It's more about just getting cars out and being seen
Yep.
Yeah.
and heard. You know, it's and the locals they do take that on board, that you are behaving yourself, and they do appreciate that. The cops aren't sort of getting drawn to it as such.
Yeah,
They
we had a
actually
little bit of
pat
the
on back.
opposite of that. We didn't behave ourselves and get us in trouble. That's the way it works sometimes.
So what's something that you learned from this event that maybe you'll implement in your next event?
Definitely driving. We need to drive. I know it's difficult when people live so far away and we are limited for drags. So yeah, driving. Yeah. It was fun.
I think a lot of people that did have E85 cars were a little bit reserved taking their cars out any further than they had to. And we had to be mindful of that too, because, the fuel was like Mad Max. It's very, conservative on fuel in a lot of ways. So, people were asking, have you got a spare 20 or, a spare 5 gallons of E85 to get us through for the next couple of days? And, I give away 5 gallon that I had, and I think I had 20 gallons on board myself, and another 8 or 10 gallons on the drawbar of my little 6x4 trailer.
Yeah,
and that was
the life of a promoter.
Yeah, well, you
if I have it, it's yours.
It is, and look, it's one of those things where a lot of people just, if there was any issue in the car park or any of the cars, people jumped in and we need a hand, jump on.
Yeah.
So the mateship and so forth is
awesome.
It is awesome.
Yep. Well, let's jump into some class stuff. Like let's run down through I'm gonna let Eric run the top 2 of each class, and you kind of tell us a little bit about this, because you guys had some very, very tight margins, and especially in this DYO class. I'm looking at it, but I'll let Eric take over.
Yeah.
It looks like the winner of DYO was Brett Chapman with a margin of .0022.
Yeah, he just pulled that out of nowhere. Like he drove really well. That was incredible.
Yeah, him and his brother. A little bit of backstory to the car. Him and his brother had bought this 1980 Camaro. It's still left-hand drive, 502 crate, turbo 400, corporate 10 bolt in it. I think it's got the 8.6 or 8.8 or whatever it is in it.
Yep.
Runs a 308 diff gear, 275 60 tyre. And anyway, the two brothers, the one with the Trackhawk and him, had co-bought this car and it's come out of the States. So So it had a 1050 Dominator on this thing with adapters and a dual plane manifold, and it was just it had this really sluggy 60 foot. Yeah. And he said, "What do you reckon?" And I said, "It really needs an 850 back on this thing. It's we just need to pull all this crap off there and put that on." So I got a loaner 850 Brawler only last Tuesday. I put it on, and he was loading the car on the trailer on the Wednesday. So I put a spare one on. I got loaned. I put it on in the driveway here at home. Didn't even change the jets, set the mixtures and the idle, and put a new air cleaner on it, and put it on the trailer and sent it.
That's awesome.
So his split from the first day to the second day was 000.
That's crazy.
Wow.
But then the third day he was only 0.0022. So hats off to him for and the thing went 667 something or other.
Wow. So it's fast too. It's not like it's slow.
It's slow, but it's on just pump 98 fuel. So it's just as I said, really, really happy with a fail-safe thing. He broke the yoke out of it in November
at our last
one. Split the yoke clean in half, and it was a strange yoke, but it was only a cast yoke. So we fixed that over the Christmas break and got a yoke in, a billet
Nice.
yoke and so forth, and a new tail shaft, and actually made some old style slapper bars for it, just stop diff hop and so forth, and
Nice.
look, you know, sometimes just the simple stuff works, and that's it. He loves the car, loves driving it, he loves foot to the floor. That's it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it looks like second place in there, and I'm probably going to
So-
screw up this name.
That's Tazia. So that's actually his brother's partner.
Ah,
Nice.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sort of, and that's the first time she's ever raced
Yeah.
competitively as such.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's she's done a little bit of testing at another strip, but that's it, and that's basically her drive car.
Mm.
So it's a LS3 powered VF Commodore Ute. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
we need
so-
some of those. We need some of those
Big
here in
smile.
the States.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say El Camino Ute because it's not
No.
El Camino Ute. It's a Commodore
Yeah.
Ute.
I'm sure you guys get that quite a bit whenever you're
Oh,
talking
yeah,
us
it
Americans.
loves up the Ute owners, I tell you.
So it looks like her margin was 0.0179 for second
Yeah.
place.
That's
then we
awesome.
We had
And-
one of the locals here in a Falcon with a 351 standard stroke 351, and he got a bottle on it. So to have a bottle car, he doesn't put a stupid amount, 150, 175 of gas in it, and his margin was 0.0209, and then fourth place was 0.0210.
Oh wow! So very
Which was
close there.
Father and son new build in a first generation Commodore with a Holden V8 in it. So yeah, that first time racing it. So, and his dad's got a 69 Pontiac Firebird.
Mm.
So with a 400 in it. So he's looking at bringing that next time. So we've
Is
got some interest, different cars, demographic of cars and people is just, it's very wide and varied.
Yeah. Is the DYO one of your bigger classes or the biggest
It
class?
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty typical with a lot of events lately.
Mm.
It is.
So let's jump in the 850 class. It looks like the winner of that was Mick Roberts. So it looks like you guys do total time then?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
we do it at added time each day. So someone submits a card and then they've got to put their lowest card to that 850. They can't give me an 8499.
Mm.
You're going to give me an 850 or slower. So
Okay. So
this
it looks
is
like
where it gets tight.
yeah, their total time was 25.594 and Mike went ahead and did the math there. That's a 8.5313 average.
That's it.
That's pretty.
Mm.
It's
Yeah.
very tight. Nadine can tell you a little bit more about that.
So Mick's car is an XC40, isn't it?
XC Ford, so
Yeah.
it's a 78, I think it is.
Yeah, it's named the Whale because it is a big wagon. I actually raced this one.
Yeah.
So I can't pull a time like that. The quickest I went was a 9.4 second pass on the 8th mile, which
Wow.
wasn't too bad because the first time I ever raced it was 13.8 seconds. So it was quite an improvement. Mick absolutely loves his Whale. And he was wrapped with his time. So pretty consistent with his times right through.
Yeah.
So it's a 351 factory car,
Mm.
351 FMX, column auto,
Yep.
disc brake 9-inch, two-way tailgate, long roof.
No power steering.
Yeah, look, that's normal for a race car over here.
Oh
Yeah.
no,
Oh, yeah.
I've never driven anything without power steering, so that's because and it's bench seats that don't move forward, and I'm really tiny, so like I need pillows and everything to try and reach.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
So it looks like second place in the 850 was Joe. What is that? Camilleri?
Camilleri, yeah.
Camilleri, yeah.
So that
Camilleri.
was his essential daily driver. He's
That was his Plan C
He's
car.
Plan C car. So usually he has 2 other cars that he'll come and race in, but they're in pieces at the moment. So he just brought this one along. He wasn't going to race, but he clearly
Can't help himself.
Can't help himself.
No.
Yeah,
No,
if
he-
you're on Plan C, you're my kind of dude.
Yeah, it's He brought his mate with him, and he just said, his mate said, I don't know what I'm going to do all week because he's not going to race. And next minute he come over, I want the number. I want the number. I'm here. So
He ends up in second place.
Yeah.
But normally he's in the 650 bracket, slowing his car down because
Wow.
he has a BA Falcon with well over 1,000 horsepower, Barrow 4 litre in it, and which is he's doing a D-stroker for it at the moment, a 3.8 D-stroker, and a Territory, all-wheel drive Territory, which is the same platform as a BA Falcon sedan, but it's in a wagon and it's a all-wheel drive, and it makes probably another 500 more horsepower than his sedan. So, yeah, the fair weapons.
Rowdy.
Yeah, so for him to try and slow them down to a 650 is more of a craft than trying to go faster. So hence why, these guys are, sometimes it's more of a feat to come slower than what it is to go faster. And they enjoy that because they're not breaking crap, they're winding the boost right down on it and just having some fun for a change instead of beating the snot out of them,
Yeah.
And, people
So we get into the 750 class. Looks like Daryl Harding won that with it's a 22.782, which ends up being a 7.594 average.
Yeah. And he's got a little shovel-nosed Mustang, 4-stud Mustang with a pretty stout Windsor and manual in it. So for him to wheel it in there, it's a great effort. And he's one of the long distance travelers as well. So he's travelled that distance. So hats off to him, and also to second place, Brad. He'd lost second gear in his Turbo 350.
No.
So it was a 8,000 in first gear, slammer into top gear, and driver out the back. So wow. But didn't stop him. No.
I was going to say still ended up with a 23.6, which
is
like
raced right through.
788.
Still raced it. Yeah. So
awesome.
Hats off to them. The stout performers, and did they like coming? Of course they did. They loved it. Family and wife and kids there, and so forth. So it was it was good.
Awesome. Good. Then we get into the 7.0 class, and I'm looking at these, and these numbers look real close. So the winner is Stephen Ibsen.
Yep. And
so he finished with a 21.057, which ends up being a 7.019 average.
Yeah, very tight. And he actually, him and his wife and daughter jumped in the car, drove it out the drag strip on the Friday, got down the road, turned right, went about half a mile down the road, and stopped dead on him. It just stopped dead. The blower locked up on it. It's got 671 holding V8, and the blower locked up. The rotors had actually locked up on the back plate. So anyway, they got it back to the strip, pulled it apart, and basically cut up a couple of Coke cans and to give them some shims on the back bearing, and a couple of other guys from that were actually out with a breakage, give them a hand to put it together, and got it going for the Saturday, and he knocked his number out. So that's the mateship that these guys are.
That's incredible to finish with a 7.01 then after that.
But they had an absolute ball. Yeah,
that's awesome. Then it looks like we got Jamie. I'm not going to try to pronounce that.
Maslikov. Yes, so he's
name.
Another one of the long distance drivers. He did 35 passes.
Oh wow! And finished with a 7.039 average.
That's crazy.
So he's got a black XY Falcon GT. Very, very nice car. So
Very cool.
yes, his wife and she's an avid supporter of him, and he's got some cars. And he just said, Dave, which car am I going to bring? I said, Jamie, I don't care which car you bring. Any of them can come out of the shed and race and have some fun with. So he bought this with a brand new engine in it last week. So he just went round and round and round and round, and he said, I haven't worn it out yet, so I'll just keep going, all right? I've still got tyres and I've still got fuel. So, and it's running on 8 cylinders, so we're off. Yeah, so he had a ball, absolute ball with it.
That's awesome. So that looks like probably one of the tighter classes then.
Yeah.
It was. And Michael Ryan, first time racing, he's got a Commodore Ute with a twin turbo LS in it, and he was having a few issues with it, but seemed to get it together and have a bit of a flick around on the laptop to get the tune happy on it. And he handed me a card for that, so it was he was happy. So
then it looks like we get into the 650 class. So winner of that was George Hotsey with a 19547, which ends up being a 651.56 average.
Yeah. So his co-pilot Sin, they've been mates for, I would say, 40 something years, and their parents had worked at the Ford factory in Geelong when they lived in Geelong and so forth. Sin still lives in Geelong, and George lives in Melbourne now, but Sin's been his co-pilot and wheelman for, I would say probably 40 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they go everywhere together. They're just like joined at the hip. So, yeah, they're great guys. They bunk with us in Mildura with Nadine himself. So, we shared our accommodation with them as we do, and it's
there were several motel rooms with us that had 5 or 6 dudes in them.
Yeah.
Everybody trying to save a little bit of money, get out there and do that.
Yeah. It
looks like second place was Rocky with a 19.599, which ends up being a 6.533 average.
Yeah.
And Rocky's a local in Mildura, and
he's got a black Senator.
Black VZ Commodore Senator, third generation Commodore with a turbo LS in it. And he just said, Dave, he said, I like your format. He said, I've turned it down a bit to get it to here, but he said, did we have fun? Of course we had fun. He said, I want to do the next one. He said, I like your format. And I said, look, the next one we'll probably open it up to a 6.0 as well. We'll slip in a 6.0. So that might just, let a few of them, put the up button a little bit. So, let them run a little bit nicer to that. So, as I said, we're just trying to get in with I suppose make them feel comfortable with where they're at. So,
and looks like you came in third in the 650 class, huh?
Well, can't be seen to be winning it, so we just put a time card in. Just put a time card in each day, and look, our competitors, and
I mean, let's be honest, you can win your own event. You can.
No.
It doesn't
look good.
It'll push people to want to go faster than the promoter.
Yeah, it does. And look, so many people say to us, "Oh, it's good that you actually, you're in there, you're competing." And Nadine jumps in another car, and I jump in my car, and we do passenger passes and that, and we try, because I didn't put this event on for everyone else and us not be part of it too. It just wouldn't be right if we pulled up in a Hyundai Excel to run this event, would it? Just the credibility just wouldn't be there. So
it's too hard for me to try and Eric, when would we have had time to make passes, dude? I don't know.
I have no idea. I thought we were going to do the media race, and I wouldn't even have known if that happened, to be honest.
It's crazy.
No,
congratulations, you guys. That's the next level of something I don't want to attempt anymore.
Oh no, our competitors actually want us to be a
Yeah.
part of it too.
Yeah.
So, which
That's
is
awesome.
good, and look, we feel a part of it because that's what I set it up for. I don't want it to be
Yeah.
that stupidly big that we can't be a part of it and we just absolutely run off our feet. Don't get me wrong, we are busy, but
Yeah.
we have Christian. Christian gives us a hand, which is another mate that he does data collection and so forth. He works for a
That's
telco
great.
here in Australia, and he is a busy man outside of doing this. So he comes along to have a bit of a holiday, crunching some numbers with us, and while
Yeah.
we're out, on the strip or doing, checking out around the pits and checking on people, then
Yeah.
he can be taking data and he loves doing it. So,
Yeah.
hats off to Christian. Without him, being there as well, it would make it super hard. But we do this with four of us. There's only four of us that actually
Yeah.
put this together and do it. And then I have Alan on the microphone. So,
Nice.
but our helpers, everyone out in the pits, because they are so great to work with, and we're not herding cats here. We're these guys are not. You don't have to hold them by the hand.
Yeah, that's good.
You do your driver's brief each morning, and you're not drilling stuff into them that they already know. It's common sense stuff, and these people, understand common sense. I know that's a little bit hard this day and age, but
Yeah.
I was going to keep my mouth shut.
I'll fight for it.
So then
but
it looks like
no, I have Amanda that does our just at the start of our staging lanes and that, and I'll throw that over to her, and she might bring up a couple of things that she would like, implement into our driver's brief each morning, and then add them in our staging lanes, and he'll just do the basic, reiterate that the right hand lane has right away and left hand lane has to give way, and while you're in the staging lanes, give the third lane for emergency vehicles if need be, and just keep it orderly.
Yeah.
There's nothing hard about it, but if you reiterate it, people are on the same page, and that we're going out in our ET brackets, so it looks a bit more professional for those that you're following it, and it's a meeting that you'd like to sit there and go, oh, okay, that's how it works, and this is where we're at. So yeah,
Awesome.
keep it simple enough that people follow and
Yeah.
Oh, did they lock up?
fuss with, and we try and take the hard stuff out. Yep.
And it looks like
So
the
that's
last
where
one
we
here
should-
is. Yep, the last one here is the shootout. Looks like that was Lee Roberts that won that.
Yeah, in a Belvedere Plymouth. He'd never raced before.
What?
59 two-door in
Yeah.
hothouse green, metallic
Was it
hothouse green.
green? Yeah, I saw the picture of that. It was pretty cool looking.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
He did a swap. He had a F350 Ford truck, a workhorse truck, and anyway, he wanted to sell it because it was just surplus to his needs. And anyway, tried, and anyway, he put it on Marketplace and said, "May swap for something cool or old school, or." So anyway,
That's what he got.
I contacted him, and they did a deal, and he only got that a couple of months ago. That car.
Wow.
So
What a
he's
cool
only
car,
just
too.
started driving it around, and he said, "This thing's got some balls." He goes, he said, "I think I might bring that." So his brother is Mick with the XC wagon. So so between them there was a bit of banter going on, and anyway, Mick got to drive the Plymouth at one stage, and then his brother turned around and won the shootout in it. So
That's
cool.
He is cool. So I think we've got him hooked for life now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, let's switch it up, because I think one of the biggest reasons you guys are on here is the little bit of competition between the U.S. versus Australia here for the 650 index bragging rights is what we'll call this. So what I would like to do, and I don't know if you have them ready or not, but the racer with the best 3 650 passes or above, which I think we know who's that's going to be on your side. We want to pit them against this best 650 class racer on our side, right? So
we've
these
only
again,
got we've only got the cards that they've submitted us at the moment.
yeah, and that's the way we did ours, was stuff from folks that people submitted. So our 650 index, which was absolutely insane, I got bullied into doing it, to be honest, at PRI by some other racers that were attending the event and PRI. We were all sitting around the table having a couple cans, and kind of got pushed into it by Joel Clark. I'm going to give him a big shout out. Joel Clark, David Keaton Maxon, Lance Drager, and Corey Nicholson, our Car Change 3D sponsor. They were all kind of like, I think it'd be great. And I was like, man, I don't want to add another class, but you know what? Let's go. Let's add it. So Lance dug in his pocket and dug out $500. So if you guys will reveal who your winner is, I'll reveal who our winner is, and we'll see if who wins the overall.
Rocky Caminiti, he went a 6501 at 115.17.
What?
Mhm.
Wow. So
turbo car, she got some mile an hour. See, so
well, and I was looking for. I think I was thinking average on this. So like that racer would put in their 3 passes for the weekend, right? So I was thinking your guy would probably be George Hotsey.
Yes, George's.
Yes, 6.5156 average is what I have on my side. By just doing the math.
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you guys, I got to tell everybody at home, everybody watching and listening to this later, USA wins bragging rights for 2024. Now, we're going to do this again in 2025. The Dustin Peterson, who won our class, obviously, but he put up, day one, he put up a 6.527. Day two, put up a 6.5014. And then day three, at a completely different track, put up 0.5073. So for a total of 19.5357. So really just a hundredth faster than what you guys did, which is intense.
That's so close.
Yeah, gave him a 3-pass average of a 6.5119. But listen to this. This is where it gets really, really cool. Abby Larson, who is our other, she came in second. She put up a 6.5035 day one. Day two puts up a 6.5062, and then day three puts up a 6.5264 for a total of 19.5361. Literally 4/10,000 slower than Dustin for an average of a 6.512 average. So, that's insane. What's that? Let's see, 10,000 slow average. Crazy.
And for street cars to have so tighter margins, even those us away here, let alone use guys that are statisticians that have studied numbers and numbers and numbers. So,
I got all nerdy with that one. I was like, oh, that's
you didn't think it was going to be that close, did you?
No, man, that's crazy. Some honorable mentions from our event. Jared Aspergen came. He was like, I'm telling you, one of the earliest passes in this class, and it was 6.500. He came like running over. Perfect pass for the class. Absolutely crazy. Jonathan Shaw with a 6.510. Jonathan Perkins with a 6.518. And Keaton Maxon, the entire reason we have the class, 6.5153 as a pass. So, and we had a bunch of passes that went under, but we don't collect those.
So what was your reaction time for your 6500?
Ooh, I don't know. That's a good question. Somebody tag Jared and tell him to let us know what his reaction time was. Yeah. Because that's the next thing we collected reaction time last year for the passes they submitted, and then ran a reaction time challenge within that. But we didn't have a sponsor for that again this year, so we skipped it this year. But I think we'll be able to next year, because man,
that might be splitting hairs next time. You might need that to split hairs. So
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Well, you guys have another event because you like mental pain. You're going to do a second event in 2024. So give us some kind of rundown on that and the dates and where it'll be.
Yeah, we're looking at doing one in November. We're just waiting for the confirmation on the dates at the moment.
Yeah, so it'd be around 8th, 9th, like 7th, 8th, 9th of November.
So we're just
Same tracks, or
same track. Only due to the fact that trying to get the tracks at the moment is just it's very difficult. It is very difficult with the sparse amount that we've got, and look, the cost of the tracks is another. And, we've been approached by one of the main tracks just outside of Victoria here, but at 10K an hour to be there and not being able to run under, it's insane. It's 100K for the day, and my wallet's not that deep. I'll give you the tip. It's
wow, man, that's
so costings are just we have a budget to run to, and
right.
that is in it, and they sort of wonder why we're not there to race at their track, and well, come on, be realistic.
So could you run under like a test and tune and open it up to some other racers? I mean, I just can't imagine trying to cover that kind of cost.
No. And look to deal with the Mildura track, and our budget that we run to, it's achievable and they're great to work with. So,
and insurance, let's be honest, insurance.
Well, I guess that's a good point, because then you're going to need to cover everybody else, and you don't know who's going to show up for a test and tune. Yeah, I was just trying to think. So the first couple of years, that's what we did when we were kind of in the, I think once we surpassed I think it was like 50 cars, it really got too hard to manage and trying to get in with the test and tune, because we were basically bringing a whole nother test and tune to the track.
Hence why we do.
So, man, I guess
first day is our test and tune for us, because we do, as I said, we do our window banner and our car number in the vinyl, put them on, and then we'll texture a bracket that they want to run on the first day. When they hand in the ticket at the end of the first day, we will give them now a bracket vinyl to put on the windscreen then, and so for the next 2 days they've got a vinyl to say that they're in dial your own, or an 850 bracket, or whatever, and then that gives people a chance to change before they give me a ticket on the first day. It's not hard, set, and fast. So your first day is your test and tune day, and get a feel for where it's at. And some people
somebody thinks they're going to come out and run 7.0s, and suddenly it runs 671. They're like, that's right. We can turn it up a little bit, maybe beat Dave this year.
Yeah. And look, it's about giving them the opportunity to go either 650 bracket, then slow it down for the 7.0, or put it in dial your own. So there's three options there for them. Go and put a bit of ballast in it, or and even having a passenger in your car to do a solo pass, that still counts in the mix. So they can still put their card in if they want a bit of ballast in there to go slower.
So see, here in the States, you can't run faster than a 14.0 quarter mile with a passenger.
Yeah, there you go. And see, they allow us to go.
Full tilt.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well,
so there is a few similarities, but some totally disparities.
You can't do burnouts on the street. You can't modify your car heavily, but you know what? You go make a sprint down the drag strip with your buddy. That's awesome. Well, I hate to kick you off, guys, because this definitely will not be the last time you're on here. I promise. But we've got to get to the circuit stuff, or we're going to run out of time. So tell everybody where they can find you guys, where they can keep up with stuff. And for the folks in America that want to make the trip over, or the folks out of Australia that want to make the trip over, please do. I think this would be a really fun event. So tell them where they can find you.
So you can find us on Facebook at Central Victorian Drag and Drive. That's pretty much where you'll find us. We're trying to get Instagram up too. Easy peasy. And we'll have another event in November, 7th, 8th, and 9th of November. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
We appreciate the insight. I definitely learned some stuff. Eric and I were both making notes when you were talking about a ton of different context there about all this stuff. So we'll be reaching out. I mean, Dave, we message back and forth pretty regular, keeping up
Yep.
with all that kind of stuff. So I just want to say congratulations to the U.S. on taking the bragging rights for this year. But I know that's probably going to be. I mean, that's a pretty tight run there. That's a .04 difference.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
even that
Congrats, guys.
.004 difference
Yeah.
on the averages there. So pretty intense. So,
Hats off. Hats
Well
off.
done,
guys.
guys.
Yep.
yep, we'll get some trash talk artwork done up here this week and get it posted on both pages. All right, guys.
Thanks
Thank
for
you so
having us.
much. Yeah, we appreciate you guys coming on and spending the time with us.
No
Thanks,
worries.
guys.
Thank
See
you.
ya.
Thanks.
See you.
Bye, guys.
Dude, what a fun time. Listen, I'm telling
Yeah.
you, one of these days we're going to find us a sponsor that's going to let us go over there. That's going to be the goal. That will be our goal, is to go do Central Victorian Drag and Drive. I really like the format. Sounds like a lot of the style of event that we run with the circuit,
Yeah.
laid back, not going to say easy, but relatively fun and moving out there. So why
Right.
don't you why don't you do us the Howard's Cam community segment, because that's what we're going to use to cover the circuit drag and drive this week.
All right. Howard's Cam was founded as a racing cam manufacturer almost 80 years ago when Howard Johnson created Howard's Power and Racing Equipment in 1945. Howard's Cam has always used on track experience to design the most powerful designs. Today, they have an even greater group of experienced racers in circle track, drag racing, road race, mud bog, and marine. They use all this input plus the most advanced computer software to design the most competitive race winning products. From pioneers in drag racing and oval track to cutting edge marine development, Howard's Cams is at the forefront of the industry. So if you guys need any valve train upgrades, reach out to our buddy Luke B at Howard's Cam and he'll get you hooked up.
That's right. Well, guys, like we said earlier, the Howard's Cams community segment this week is going to include our circuit drag and drive recap. Again, this is Circuit 2024. Absolutely crazy stuff. I want to say thank you to Summit for coming on board as the presenting sponsor of this event. Look, couple things by the numbers real quick. Excuse me. Counting it up yesterday, 161 cars on site.
No
How
way.
crazy is that, dude? There were a lot of people that came the day of the event. Now, technically, we probably shouldn't have let that many in because we had talked about 150 car limit. But I mean, dude, again, I can't turn people away if they're going to come out and participate. They're going to get there. And now that's by how many people physically made a pass on day one, which leads me into the next setup, right? Let's go over passes for the weekend. This gets a little nerdy. I apologize, but I promise we're going to be the fun stuff in a minute. Day one passes. You want to take a guess? No, you can't because you've already seen it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I already know.
Yeah, I don't know. 437 passes made on day one.
That's crazy.
Day two was 308, and day three was 389 passes in 4 hours of time. 4 hours, 389 passes. Absolutely crazy. Biggest class of the event, obviously, you versus you. We talked about that DYO style class. 85 cars in that class. We awarded the top three, and Casey Farrell, I am sending out your trophy as soon as Travis Wise gets it done. And I apologize for not having it on there. I had a top two for every class written down, and that's what he printed. So I apologize because we did out until three on that one. And then this next biggest class was 650 index with 16 cars in it. Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
650.
never would have thought about that. Never would have thought we'd have had that many. I want to give
And
a
you
huge
almost didn't even want to do it.
No, I really didn't. Those cars would have got in somewhere else, but man, dadgum, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
A few things just real quick. Last bit of numbers here. Total people fed at the Chicken Annie's pre-party, 205.
Dude, that is awesome.
It was really fun I really feel like that is going to become a thing, whether I have to do it at other events or other events do it. The pre-party dinner was amazing. It really gave people a lot of like time to just sit and kind of get their bearings, get ready, get in the mode to get out there and do some drag and drive. So thank you so much to Chicken Annie's for letting us do that. When we walked in and Miss Donna or Miss Kim said we have 128 chairs in these two rooms, I was like, I hope we fill them up. We filled up those 2 rooms and 2 more rooms within the restaurant. What was really cool is they typically, I would think, probably have 40, 50 people through on the Thursday night that we were doing it on. And we brought another 200 in. And obviously that was part of the package. You got free dinner and things like that. But all the people that were there for regular Thursday night dinner, they got a huge car show outside. I think we probably had 60 or 70 cars come through outside. So there were a lot of like regular people that were inside eating, and these cool cars just kept coming in and all that kind of fun. So it was really awesome to do that. Thank you so much to Chicken Annie's. If you are ever in Pittsburgh, go to Chicken Annie's Original. It doesn't matter. Take the hour, go there and eat Chicken Annie's Original. Follow them on Facebook. It was amazing.
Yeah,
Uh,
I come sliding in at what time? It was about 8:30 when I got
yeah.
there, and I just grabbed me a plate and sat down. I was so hungry. I
Yep.
devoured that in like a couple minutes.
That's exactly right. Well, I know this picture isn't great on here because of my choice of color, but I'm going to fix that and then we'll post it up later. I've had several people ask for a list of the media teams, so I'm going to post this up on the circuit page shortly. If you're watching this or listening to this later, it is already up on the circuit Charity with Horsepower. This is our list of media teams that were on site. Of course, Chris Story Photo is our official photographer for the last 2 years and will be for as long as he will be. I'll say that because some of the shots that he has put up, we gave him an admin access, so a lot of the shots you're seeing are pics from Chris Story and Eric White, our boy, right down there, Mr. Awesome. Um, we had Chris Story Photo on there. We had 3G Video. Jesse Fox and his mom and dad were out taking photos. He actually ran the scooter race. That was really cool. Faux Dad Media was out, put together a go kart race with Morrow Photography. Killed it. It was amazing. It was fun.
Yeah.
They took that from me, and I appreciate them handling that. That was great at the go kart races. Johnny Allen Photography, Mister got the media trophy because he took more than 10,000 pictures, dude. ten
Yeah.
thousand pictures. So
Andy
Johnny
got a
Allen,
Andy got a sweet shot of the minivan.
I mean, bro, let's be honest. He was on point all weekend.
Yeah.
14 years old. He is going to be a force to be reckoned with within the for automotive photography. Trackside Media. Andy Savakinis came all the way from Pennsylvania to see and be at this event. Thank you so much, dude, for coming down. I hope you had fun. Morrow Photography, who we talked about a minute ago. Tim Gorley, who rode with you all weekend of Go Fast Productions. How was that? Did you have a good time with him?
I'll be honest with you. At first, I'm a person that just likes to drive alone. I like to do my own thing. Whatever I want to do in the vehicle, I can do.
Yeah.
Um, but when he approached me and said, "Hey, I'm by myself. You're by yourself. You guys, do you want to ride together?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Give it a shot." And man, we had so much fun. The shots that he got were great.
Yes.
Just the casual conversation in the car. Some of those drives were long,
Yep.
helping me get places because he was, kind of a regular in that area,
Yep.
helping me hit Walmart and divide and
Every
conquer
day.
inside, divide and
Every day that
conquer
I
to
needed
get
something. Yeah.
to
Yeah. I'm
get
so
through
I'm so
Walmart,
glad.
and and then just helping me with questions that I had about
Mhm.
camera stuff, and it ended up being awesome. We stayed up late editing pictures.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I'm glad that we ended up doing that, and I think that might be something going forward that I'll kind of change my thought process
Yeah.
and maybe have somebody ride with, because some of those roller shots he got, there was nobody else, no other media was around us for those, so
Yeah.
you know
Yeah. So next time he needs to drive some, like when you're getting rollers, he jump in the driver's seat, you get in the passenger, sling the door open, get some
y-
shots.
yeah.
Uh, Twisted Angle Garage, you guys can find some of the content on his YouTube channel. He was out there getting videos and that stuff. And of course, dude, how many pictures did you take? More than 2,500 or 3,000 or something like
it,
that?
yeah, it ended up being it was a roughly 26, 25.
Golly, dude, that's so awesome. And
And I
so
had the camera for a week, 2 weeks at the most.
two at the most. I mean, it's probably a
Yeah.
week. Yep. So that's if you think about it, start kind of doing the math, dude. That's more than 30,000 pictures taken along Route 66 and at Mocan Dragway and Ozark Raceway Park and Extreme Racing Center of Branson in the go kart area. I mean, like so many photos taken of this one event. I can't wait to see all the stuff that comes out. All of these people, and I'm going to put this full screen so you can take a screenshot real quick. All of these teams right here are already putting content out. There's already some albums that are coming out that you should be able to find pretty easily if you go to their channel. So take a chance, screenshot this right here. And I know Eric White has Drag Driver Pete next to him, but he's also posting on his personal Facebook page. And I'm sure some will end up on Motorsports Paparazzi, right?
Yep, I think so.
Yep, sweet. All right, well, that's exciting. And again, dude, I can't say thanks everybody enough. It was pretty awesome. Tim Gorley here saying all the late nights and early mornings. It was a blast.
Yep.
That's for sure, dude. It was pretty intense. Well, one thing I've done for more than 10 years when we put a car event on, it is for charity in some sort of fashion. So $25 from every entry went directly to the Children's Haven of Southwest Missouri, plus all of the raffles, plus a portion of the shirt sales that were made. And then at the end of the day, at the end of Sunday, so I didn't have to take them home, and we got that extra bump. More than $800 went from shirt sales right into the Children's Haven bucket. But also, I want to give a huge shout out to David and Keaton Maxon and Red Hat Scotty. They were the first race of the event, which for us is a huge deal because that is what kicks off the event. It's always been somebody special or some trash talk. Somebody's been a part of this program for a long time. They kicked off the event and raised more than $600 by people gambling on the winner. Now, the way this works is if you say you threw 100 in like David Maxon did, you would bet $51 on Keaton and 49 on Red Hat Scotty. And all of the gambling goes directly to the Southwest or the Children's Haven of Southwest Missouri. We also had huge shout out to Fro from Gearhead Perspective podcast. If you're not listening to that, you need to do that too. Listen, boy, jumped out, put on the Jungle Pam wig, turned his hat around backwards, and wore some shorty shorts and raised almost $1,000 by backing people up in the lanes. Dude,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
doing it with him
incredible.
next year. I'm doing it with him next year. We're going to get out there and we're going to tag team this. We're going to back up girls the heck out of this thing. So I can't thank everyone enough. We raised more than $8,000 for the uh, for the Children's Haven of Southwest Missouri. I'll have a final number probably on Friday, and we'll make that post on the circuit Charity with Horsepower. And then our plan is to probably run that dollar amount and the rest of the donations up to them next week early. Because that was the other thing too. We put out a needs list. Hey, do you want to bring anything for these? And we asked for diapers and pajamas and cleaning supplies. And
And we got a
literally,
ton.
Stephanie couldn't fit anything else in her car. There was so much stuff. So I have stuff in the trailer that would allow her to so she left it with me to bring up when we bring the money.
Yeah.
Crazy. I mean, completely filled her car. No more room in the trunk. No more room in the seats at all with donations from that. So if you add that in, dude, we probably raised more than I don't know $9,000 worth of stuff.
Yeah.
It warms my heart to think, and that's why I do that stuff for children because I want kids to know that the car community gives a shit about them. I want
Right.
them to know that, like, if they end up in a bad situation as a young adult or something like that, that you can end up with a cool car or show interest in a cool car, and that's a good way to generally get in with good people. Is for the car
Exactly.
community. So, um, route stops were crazy. We had a blast. Gearhead Curios. This is a shot from inside Gearhead Curios, done by Chris Story. Several of these photos are by Chris Story because I described them from the Circuit Facebook page. And then right here, Johnny Allen grabbed the perfect shot outside of Jesse Mataferri in front of Gearhead Curios in the trucker. Super cool shot here. This route stop, I'm sad I missed. So I completely skipped this route
All of
stop
them.
to try and catch. Well, I did end up at Boots Court.
Oh,
Luckily,
that's
I ended
right.
up at
Yep.
Boots Court. Yep. But it was only by happen chance, really, that Rick and I ended up there because we were trying to. Uh, trying to beat everybody to the rail haven and ended up on the same route as everybody else. So it worked out perfect. And then Boots Court, obviously Carthage, Missouri, you were amazing. Jeremy and the team there did a great job. The facility was awesome. It came out with some amazing pictures from all of the photographers. There's some from Tim that you'll see that I actually took,
Yeah.
boy.
I think you posted them already.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to look at them because,
There are just a few photos he tagged
yeah,
of that just you took.
that's great. Well, I hope that they ended up okay, and he didn't have to work on them too hard because it, I
How
didn't know
heavy was that
anything
thing?
about that, dude. Crazy. His camera's huge, and so I was just clicking, man. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just clicking. So, Boots Court, thank you so much for being awesome. And then, bro, Waffle House, come on now.
Oh
Waffle
yeah,
House was
Waffle House
amazing.
was a good
Um,
time.
Hang on, I think yes. Okay, let's go back to Railhaven because this was a little bit of a struggle for folks. Now, in the future, I will do better at writing the descriptions for the route stops. So I'm going to, literally say take a picture here because there were several people that did not get pictures here, even though it kind of said it in another part of the directions and a little bit of an argument there, but I'm going to do better. Promise. The Railhaven was so cool. We literally booked the entire place. There
It
were two
was
rooms that were somebody else, and I think those people had a good time too.
it was awesome. The only thing I missed was getting to check out the Elvis suite.
Yeah,
I
yeah, we
completely forgot about that.
Yep, yep, missed that one too. By the time we got there, it was late. And yes, Tim says I posted them on your page. Thanks, dude. Do you know how many notifications I've gotten in the last week being a
Uh,
part of the
probably
page?
just probably just a couple.
Yeah. So I thought this was a really good shot here. And of course, if you're staying in Springfield, I highly recommend the Railhaven. The staff was great. The rooms are super cool. And I mean, this is a historical spot along Route 66. And the Boots Court is actually the second oldest motel on Route 66 and only has 13 rooms. How cool is that? All right. And then let's flip back. The Waffle House stop, bro. Waffle House, I love you. I love you. I love Billy Nichols, who made this all happen with Waffle House, y'all. So we show up that morning, we go back. Eric and I and Tim and Rick are eating in the thing, and Billy comes over and was like, "Hey, I know Driven Racing Oil gave $250, and we initially said we'd give 100, but they matched Waffle House matched the 250, so the first $500 of meals were completely paid for. Nobody had to pay for anything, which was awesome because we just got up and left.
Yeah.
I was so late. So I'm sure they got that taken care of, but that's really amazing for them. I mean, that's got to at least feed, 10 or 12 people right out of the gate.
Well, not
So
only that, then
it paid to show up early.
they gave us the
Yep.
cards and everything to hand out as well.
Yep. Tons of
And then they
discounts, tons of
and
free
then
hash
they
browns. Yep.
Yeah, and then they posted on the circuit page that they were going to give 10% to anybody that came back for dinner that night. And I know the next morning, as we were coming back through town, we seen Jesse Mataferri back there again for breakfast the next morning.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, again, I can't thank Waffle House enough. I hope this kind of parlays into something bigger with Waffle House. Y'all know I love it. I talk about it all the time. I would love to introduce more people to Waffle House along my trips across the country. That is always something that makes that's a restaurant that I eat at every trip I take.
Yeah, and we painted their road outside of the Waffle House.
Yeah, we helped recover it for sure. There are a lot of great shots from that as well.
Yes.
Um, we went from Waffle House to Ozark Raceway Park. Want to give a shout out to them. The track itself, the lanes were great. We had some struggles there. I've already alerted 666 of the struggles we had. I'm sure Tom can get those handled by then. But other than that, dude, they commented how well everyone was and how smooth everything went, which for you and I was absolutely not smooth. We were running around like chickens with our head cut off. We struggled quite a bit with the live stream and the cameras and plugins and all that kind of stuff. Um, that will be better in the future as well. And then The Speed Mini says if Mike doesn't have a black Waffle House card before 2025, there will be blood. I would love to have some kind of Waffle House certificate that I could just keep sending in my invoices. Anyways, Ozark Raceway Park, super cool setup. I love the feel of that track, love the vibe of that track, and the team was great to us. I mean, they took care of us monetarily. They had a good time. We had more than 150 spectators on site, which was lighter than I wanted. But again, Saturday racing, when you don't, spectators don't seem to come out for drag and drive as much as they should. So we're going to work on that for 2025 as well. But Ozark was a great track. If you're anywhere near it, I definitely high praise, high praise.
Lots of parking too. There was plenty of
Yeah.
room. It seemed like.
Yep. Yep. And good stuff. And then obviously we went from Ozark Raceway Park to Extreme Racing Center in Branson and go kart raced. And y'all, my shoulders may still be a little sore.
Yeah, you and I duked it out
Doing
for a
the-
little bit, and
yeah.
there's a video that was posted. I don't know if you saw the video.
Uh-uh.
I forget who posted it. Somebody just posted it. I saw it today, and it was some clips from the go karts, and it's got you and I coming down the hill
Oh, that's
together.
probably
So
Sharma Hardy was up
that,
there.
yep, that's who
Yep.
it was.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, if somebody didn't get me laughing over the sound of the go-kart engine, I'll be surprised. I was having a blast, man.
Yeah.
That's really, I'm telling you, that's what I needed, dude. Because there was some pretty stressful points by that time, and I was about at my limit, low sleep,
Oh
stressed,
yeah.
trying to make sure everybody had a good time, and I
The
needed that.
drive.
It was fun.
Yeah, the drive was great.
Yep.
Lots of, driving through the Ozarks, and I'm with you. I did my lap through the parking lot. I took photos of cars and the hotel, and then I went back to the room. I dumped all the photos back onto my hard drive, and I decided I'm putting the camera away for the night. I'm gonna go have fun. I was dragging at that point, but once I got on the go-karts and had a little bit of pizza, and I was
Yep.
ready to go for the rest of the night.
Oh, you mean this pizza right here?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
another big shout out to my wife, Melissa. I love you. You were amazing. She ran down, got the first round of 40 pizzas. They were gone in 4 minutes. Well, I staggered it for like an hour and a half. She called Domino's and was like, "Please, you've got to get these done. These pizzas are gone." She got no pizza from that. I got no pizza from that. I don't think you got any pizza from the first round. And
No.
she went right back and waited on another 35 pizzas. So we again, Chicken Annie's free meal for everybody. Domino's pizza on the go kart night, free meal for everybody, and then we paid for we covered $500 worth of breakfast at Waffle House on Saturday. I'm not like a huge foodie person per se, but I like to eat, especially with a lot of my race car friends. So
Well, and the thing
it was
is
pretty
too,
fun.
at least for me, throughout the day at the track, I would forget to eat. So
Yep.
if we didn't grab something in the morning, I wasn't eating until dinner, and by then,
Yep.
it was late. Chris Story's comment here: go-kart racing is the best thing that's happened at a drag and drive in a long time. I 100% agree. That was a ton of fun.
Well, I thank you all for that. Thank you all for the kind words and all that kind of stuff. It really means a lot because there was a lot of thought that went into that. My wife and kids and I drove up in January and raced go-karts in Branson to see which ones we wanted to race and talk to all those people. So I mean there's a lot of time put into all that, and I appreciate that. It was it was pretty amazing to see so many people having so much fun. You know,
Yeah,
Chris Hogan and Morrow, I can't remember her first name. They put together a media race, which was really cool. I mean, they worked with the manager's name was Grace. They worked with her to get it sectioned off to where we could do our own thing. Like it
yeah,
was just like 10 media people out there at one time racing. So that was pretty neat to handle that. I want to say thank you to them for doing that as well. The go-kart racing is definitely going to stay. We're we're probably going to go a different route, like drive route next year. And so I'm working on that already. But wherever we go, we'll have some kind of go-karts no matter what, because it was
yeah,
awesome. We had a blast. It's crazy, dude.
yep. It was
So,
so much fun. That
I
was great.
saw
I think everybody had fun. We were there until after 10 o'clock. 'Cause I
Yep,
think I don't think we started the last race until like 5 after 10.
yep, Yep. And then I saw Danny Fatka ask earlier about the person who went over the wall. They won the Piston Cup from Pat Cook, who brought that up. That he won it because he wasn't trying to do anything crazy. But when I was at the front of the line talking to everybody, and then all the go karts shut off and people take off running.
Yeah.
And I panicked, obviously. I'm like, "Oh, man, somebody has flipped one over." And so went down there and he had just ran it up on the on the fence or border or whatever you would call that. He was trying to bounce off of it to get the cart to go backwards enough so he could turn, and it just went bloop right up on top. So pretty cool. The staff freaked out, but something easy. Nobody was hurt or anything like that. And then Chris Story said better than drinking in the ballrooms. That's for sure. Yeah. I do want to give credit to Tom Bailey for that because we went to the go karts at PRI, and I had been thinking obviously about doing go karts because that's pretty fun stuff for adult men. And but when we raced at his event for the sick carts or whatever it was at PRI, that sealed it, dude. I mean, we had to
Yeah.
find a go kart place.
Yeah, the sick cart chaos.
Yeah, yeah, that was a good time. So huge shout out to Sick the Mag. All right, let's talk about some. See, we went through all that. We stopped at Gary's Gay Parita fueling station on the way back from there. Dang, I didn't grab pictures of that, so we'll take these off here. Put us back like
I've
this.
probably got some, but
Yeah, I was gonna say you can find those all on the circuit page, and then we'll also be sharing that over to Drag Driver Pete as well. And then we stopped at the Route 66 drive-in. I don't know who had the best shot of that, but I want to say it was probably Jay Blanchard getting a shot of Brian Acton's Nova up against. He was on the ground getting that low upward shot. Looked super cool on his phone. I haven't seen it on Facebook yet, but I'm sure it's up there. Fast Act Racing. So make sure you find that. And then the I just feel like the shots from there and Gary's were amazing.
yeah. And
Lots
not
of
even
history at those two places.
Yeah, and not only just the Route 66 drive-in, we had an impromptu route stop just up the hill from there where the
Oh yeah.
kid was out there with the little kid was out there with a burnout sign. So they
Oh
also
really?
they also repaved the road. I mean, it couldn't have been more than a few blocks down the road. There was a I got a picture of the place and the road. Um, but
Perfect.
yeah, there was another Route 66 place there, and it was actually friends of Tim's. They had a bunch of slammed full-size trucks, and
Oh cool.
they were all parked on the side of the road, and there was a young kid with a sign saying, "Burnouts welcome." So
That's
if
awesome.
there's a kid holding a sign that says "Burnouts welcome," burnouts will be done.
Yeah, if you don't do that, you're in trouble. And then a couple talking points here. I want to give a huge shout out to Felicia Smith, Felicia and Aaron for putting together a opportunity for us to talk to kids at the CTEC at the Pittsburgh, Kansas High School. That was really cool. Rick Dodge and I drove over and got to talk to the afternoon class. And I don't know if any of those kids heard anything that we were talking about, but two of the kids ended up at Chicken Annie's Thursday night driving around looking at cars. I mean, that's got to say something. But it allowed us to kind of, I mean, tell a little bit of a story about how you don't have to turn wrenches on cars. You don't have to sell cars. If you're into cars, there's a lot of opportunity. We talked about this a couple weeks ago within the office, within, building cars, all that kind of stuff. So it gave us a chance to kind of tell those kids all about all of that. And Rick really gave a good perspective on it because he comes from the safety side and how all of that stuff works. And you can become part of the car community on another level other than just working at a shop turning wrenches. So it's pretty neat. A couple cars that sadly broke. Jeff Merrick actually won the spirit of the circuit by replacing both head gaskets in the Mocan parking lot and then still getting to the end of the event. So huge shout out to that dude. Super
Yeah,
clean at Grand National.
I got a picture of the ATV pulling them back down the return road.
Nice. Nice. That's awesome. Chris Paget hurt the transmission in the car. Patrick Melson, same class gasser hot rod power adder, actually created a new rule that we use moving forward called last man standing. So he made passes at Ozark. The other two people in his class did not. So that's the way it goes sometimes. But that was kind of a new drama rule to kind of have to figure out. Like, I mean, nobody in the class finished, but we
Right.
had the trophies made. It's not like I'm going to throw the trophies away. So last man standing. I think it makes sense.
Yeah, I
Um,
do too.
and then Heidi Brown sadly blew up the engine in the Hellcat in the Durango. Man, it was puffing white smoke bad. I've got a video I'm going to post up later. Nico Christoferi, dude, 27 passes on Saturday. He was an animal, absolute animal. Jonathan Stonecipher got the monkey off of his back and finished his first drag and drive event in 4 attempts. Exciting. And he did it in the Nova. So that's even better. It's even a huger win.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the scavenger hunt a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about it a little bit earlier and how much fun that brings. I didn't actually get to see what was on the list. Um, I remember last year, there was being handcuffed by an officer was on there and
Yep.
some pretty wild stuff. But again, the amount of busy that we were, I never even got to see the checklist. But
Yeah.
it ended up being in a tie, which I don't think any of us expected that to
No,
happen.
not at
So.
all.
So
Not at
Brandy
all.
and Aaron Roberts and Danny and Josh Odom both scored 800 points.
Yeah.
So like I said, I didn't see the points. You probably know what the values were, but
Yep.
I would take a guess that it took a lot of things to get to 800 points. So
Yeah, there was probably, I would say, at least 30 or 40 on there that they had to do. And the cool thing is they did different stuff. So that
yeah,
was the other thing, was like, oh man, how many times did they overlap? So it's really fun is I have all of that, have all of those pages. And so I'm going to let my 14-year-old daughter Peyton, who ran the live stream, huge shout out to her too. I'm going to let her go through there and check mark which ones were used and which ones were not at all by all the teams. I think we had like 15 teams compete in it. And we're going to continue to refine this thing, man. We're going to continue to make this thing either harder or better. I don't know. Well, maybe
yeah,
both. I don't know. So it
yeah.
was really fun.
I think it's a lot of fun, and I think it's a great idea. So I'm glad
Yeah.
to see that we could keep doing it. Aaron here says I got to see things I didn't know could happen.
Yeah, like the video of the leapfrog. It was really cool. He was telling the story because he had to actually hold the phone in his mouth to do the leapfrog over Brandy. So it's really funny. We're kind of running short on time, but we'll talk about a couple class winners, and then we're going to dive into this kind of deep on Saturday on the next edition of the Drag Driver Pete News. But Brian Acton and Jay Blanchard repeat their win of Street Race Power Adder with an 8.5272 average. So they will be on the apparel again for 2025. That'll be 2 years in a row that car is going to be on the apparel and all the artwork. So that's kind of neat.
Yeah, that's
What's
awesome.
really cool about this is they get free entry into Heads Up Hustle, which
Which
happens.
is
John Paul Franks, that's his event in
right in their neck of the woods
yes,
in Michigan.
July. Sorry, bro. I had a brain freeze for a minute there. So they get free entry into that. And then they are also free entry into the circuit 2025 because they are the quickest quarter-mile car at the circuit event. The one thing I will say, we ran obviously quarter mile at Mocan, and then we ran eighth mile at Ozark. And so Brian and Jay struggled a little bit early on, especially on day one, early at Ozark, because the calculator I was using was 1.545. So that meant they need to run a 550 eighth mile when they're used to running like a 535 or 538 eighth mile to get in there and end up in the 850 time frame. If we ever go back to a eighth mile track, or we ever go all, well, we're not ever going to go all eighth mile, but if we ever go back to an eighth mile track for one of the days, we're going to, obviously move that around. We'll probably follow like the NHRA guidelines where it's, 850 is a 535 limit. So we'll just do something like that. That makes it very easy. Everybody's already tuning for that pretty close number, so it makes it easier on that side. The next class I want to give a shout out to is obviously John Paul Franks came down. He wanted to compete last year entered and everything and couldn't get the car together in time. Came down with a backup engine this time in all motor small block and just dominated, running
Yeah.
almost a full half second quicker on each pass that was submitted between him and Bob Coding, which is really cool. Fox body, obviously small block Ford. He ran the mid nines and then almost, I mean, like 60091 in the eighth.
Yeah.
Crazy, crazy.
We got tons of good photos of that too.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of fun. We're going to post those up. And obviously, the John Paul was nice enough to give the quickest quarter mile car and quickest eighth mile car free passes to Heads Up Hustle. So Jim Parkinson gets free entry into Heads Up Hustle as well because he was our unlimited winner with a 520 something average. Hold on just a second. And Jim Parkinson owns
So he'll be the other one that'll be on the
Toon
t-shirt.
JP.
Yeah,
Yep.
he'll be the other one on the shirt with Brian.
Yep, and he ended up with a 52008 average. So pretty intense. Had several 5-second cars on the property. We had excuse me, Jim low 520s ran a 5119 as his second pass at Ozark. Then in 275 class had Eric Kuhn, who everybody knows from Rocky Mountain Race Week, had a 517 and then a 5148 as his last pass at Mocan. And then in 235, huge shout out to Brad Long, mid fives all weekend, 556, 554, and a 538. His best passes of the weekend on a 235 tire.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
Chris Story just said day 3 album is up.
Yes.
I just looked. It looks like there is like 320 photos.
Wow. Bring it on. Thank you, Chris. We appreciate that so much. And if you guys didn't know, Chris has held back a few of the photos because Eric and I are going to write Luke has asked for like a 2,000 word article for presentation in the SICK the magazine next issue that we'll print. So we appreciate them showing the coverage from that, and we'll send as many pictures as they will take. We'll send them to them of all the stuff. So expect a lot of pictures to come in there, and good luck to them figuring out which ones to use because the photographers that were here were amazing, and obviously we're using a lot of Eric's stuff. Couple more things. I want to give another shout out to John Doherty. He won the all motor big block with a total time. We did this because we had two different times. I wasn't going to do the math on eighth mile to quarter mile of a 45.940 time. We had Malachi Fox win the stick shift class with a 49.581 total time. True Radial, we had Sean Slaybaugh win with a 41.970 total time on a hard tire, 10.17 quarter mile time and 6:38 as an eighth mile time. Oh no, dude, sorry. Sean actually ran a 9:23 for the first pass he turned in on Sunday.
Nice.
Absolutely
Nice.
great. That's fast on a hard tire, dude.
Yeah.
Again, shout out to Patrick Melson for making it further than anybody else in his class. And then Bob Larson won the Gasser Hot Rod naturally aspirated with a 49.104 total time. Running 11 twos, most of the quarter mile on 7 threes and the 7.225 eighth mile stuff from there. And again,
that car was just so cool too.
Oh, the Prospector, I love it.
Yeah.
And then the U versus U class, absolutely crazy. We talked about this going into the racing on Sunday. 16 cars had a 0.0 spread of some kind.
Yeah.
16 cars. Now we didn't end up with that many. We only ended up with 3 by the end of the day because obviously times change between Friday and Sunday in the quarter mile, and we used the Redwood Rally style of rules on this, which I felt were really good. I need to do a better job of explaining how all of that works, I guess, because you can't turn in a faster time, and your time slip on Friday set your ET. Well, we used all 4 digits on your time slip for your eighth mile, and that really kind of got some folks. So there are a lot of 20s when you're looking on the circuitdnd.com at the 2024 results. You'll see a lot of 20s on there, and that's because people were turning times in quicker than their 8th mile or quarter-mile times that they had turned in Friday. So that was really cool from the Redwood Rally perspective. It made it very easy because in 2023, when we did the DYO or U versus use, what we call it, we were asking people to set their own dial in. Well, that became an absolute nightmare trying to do that.
Yeah.
So this way, the Redwood Rally way, made it much easier to do for my wife to input times because all she needed was the time slip. She didn't care what you said. She cared about what the time slip said, and it made it very easy to input that stuff. And then I just run a simple formula off of that to keep up with the times and the spread and all that stuff. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to Shelby Ware's first ever drag and drive event and wins it with a 0.0379 spread across, one pass on Friday, two passes on Saturday, two passes on Sunday.
So 5 passes total.
Yep. And then Sean Larson, Abby Larson's husband, Abby Larson, who took second place in the 650 index. Sean ran, his total spread was 0.0839. And then our 2023 champion, Casey Farrell, with a 0.0988 spread. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was fun watching her watch Nico, seeing
Yeah.
how many passes he was making.
Yeah.
They were typically the last couple people to finish up at the track.
Yep, and she made 34 passes last year in 2 days and made 31 passes this year in 3 days. So her package really tight on all of that stuff. So congratulations to all the winners. Again, you can find that. I've built out a page on the circuitdnd.com that shows a picture of the winner and then link to those classes, each class, and then from in that link you can go look at other classes. So as you plan to, come out 2025, which we're already working on, you can see what you need to run for what class and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that wraps our show, dude. Right at 2 hours. That's pretty awesome. We're getting pretty decent at this.
Yep.
Drawing that out. So if you want to end us out here with the race car friends and thanking them, we'll shut this thing down.
Absolutely. Like we've been saying all night, guys, comments were great. Seeing everybody in here comment about how great the event went, that really helps keep us motivated, and we appreciate it. So thank you guys for being in here, making comments, coming out to the circuit, supporting us and doing this. And again, we can't do it without you guys and the sponsors: Summit Racing, Driven Racing Oil, Molly Motorsports, Car Chains 3D, Howard's Cams, Performer Built Transmission, Sweet Patina, Racing Junk, and our newest media partner, PowerTube TV. Thanks, guys. We will see you all on Saturday morning.
All right, guys.